So to deal with the layouts, what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck all of the different attribute tables that we have, and instead we're going to go up to this top ribbon that says Insert. Under Insert, there's a button that says New Layout. This is going to let you choose what kind of paper you want to use. So in this case, because we have 3 different maps that we want to create, we're going to use the letter one, and we're going to use it in portrait format. So when we do this, we're going to have to add various different things. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add our map frames. And so this lets us add each of our different maps. So you're going to click on the first one, so Robinson for example, and then you'll notice that it turns into this little crosshairs. You're going to click, hold, and drag where you want this to go. So I'm going to click and drag for about the first third. It's going to pop your map in. Now, if you're like me and your map isn't showing everything that you want it to show, and make sure that you've created a map that has a nice symbology attached to it, don't just use the defaults. If you need to remember how to do that, go back to the last lab and take a look for it there. So, but if you need to change how this looks, so you want to zoom it out or things of that nature, up at the top you'll notice that you now have a new ribbon and it's called Map Frame. So if I click on it, it's going to have a variety of different things that I can do to my table, but it doesn't really have anything that is going to let me adjust my map anymore, because this has a whole variety of things just for this frame. So instead what I can do is I can head back over to this top one up here that says Layout, and in here there's a variety of different tools that we can use. And so this one is called Activate. Activate is going to take away all of your layout properties and give you back all of your map tools, one of which is our Explorer, which means we can zoom in and out. So I'm going to hit Activate. You'll notice that it changes some things. So now I can scroll out, which is going to let me move, or I can move my my map around. And once I'm happy with where it's located, zoomed in and out, I can go back to layout and close that activation to then have back all of my different potential things that I need to insert into the map. Now, in this particular case, one of the things I'm going to want is to click on this text, and again, I can drag and drop this, and in this case, I'm going to want to say that this is Robinson. Now, this is too large, so I can just highlight all of this, and I can say, okay, well, I want to have this element, right? So I can double click on that element. It's going to pop up with this text symbol on the right hand side. But if I move over from text into text symbol, this is where I can start adjusting it. So maybe I don't want it to have this text, not that I want it to say Robinson, but I don't want it to be in this sans serif font. So if I go to appearance, then I can say, all right, I want to switch this. I want to make this, I don't know, I usually like Cambria, so I'm going to switch this to a Cambria text. You can switch it to whatever you want. I'm going to switch it to a Cambria text, and then I also know that this is too large, so I'm going to drop it down to 36, hit apply, and see if that does it. It's still too big, so I'm going to drop it down a little bit further. I'm going to drop it down another 12 to 24 point font. Now I have Robinson, I can read it, and I can do that. Somewhere in here, I'm going to want to add a new one, and I'm going to want to put how big kilometers squared it was. Okay? Now this one, because it's so big, is probably going to be too large to do in the font that you currently have, so it might have to be dropped down to something like 18 point font, maybe a little bit smaller than that. Just make sure it's legible and that you can read it. Okay? So you're going to repeat this process for every single one. So go to map frame, go to the map you want, add it, change the zoom on it, add what things it is, make sure you have a name, some sort of title that is useful, make sure your name is on it, make sure it has your how large, how many, how what the total area of the marine projected areas is for which projection, and then you should be good to go. Once you have a completed map, this is where you're going to then share your map and export it to a PDF. So to do this, you're going to go up to Share, Export Layout. This is going to pop up on the left-hand side. Now you're going to want to make sure that this is in the PDF, and then you're going to want to make sure under name that you know where it's going to save. So if you want to save it to your folder, that's fine. Just make sure you know where it's being saved. You can also save it to your downloads, perhaps, your documents. Wherever you want is fine. Just make sure you know where it exists. Switch the name so that you know what it is that you're looking at. So when you're searching for it later, you can actually find them. So marine protected area projections. There we go. So I can save that out. I'm going to save it under downloads. And then once I do that, I have to make sure that I hit export. It's going to have the progress bar down at the bottom. And once you see that it is where you need it to be, it'll turn green. You can view your exported file. It's going to pop up with how it looks, and you can say, yep, that's exactly what I want to submit. And then you can submit that along with your report. And that should be about it. Make sure you save your project after in case you need to come back to it. And then when you're done, you can shut it all down. And I'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much.